Hello friends, myself Mahima Lahariya. Welcome to my YouTube channel Pacific Chemistry Classes. Today we are going to study the Paterno-Bucci reactions of the photochemistry. As we all know, there are various type of the photochemical reactions, means they can be photo addition reactions, photo reduction reactions, photo oxidation reactions. So Paterno-Bucci reaction is a type of photochemical addition reactions or photo cycloaddition reactions. It can also be asked by the name of the oxytane formation. Now we will see the details of the Paterno-Bucci reactions. As these reactions were first given by the Emmanuel Paterno and George Bucci, so the name is the Paterno-Bucci reactions. Now we will see what are these. It is the photo addition, is the formation of 1:1 adduct, generally the cyclic, between the ground state of olefin molecule and the excited state of another molecule, which may be a carbonyl compound, quinone, aromatic compounds, or a secondary molecule of the olefins. Means it is a photo addition, means the addition is in the presence of the light and the product formation is generally cyclic, and the reaction takes place between the ground state of alkene molecule. Olefins are the term used for the alkene. So the reaction takes place between the alkene molecule and the excited state of the carbonyl compounds. So the best example of the photo addition reaction is the Paterno-Bucci reactions. Paterno-Bucci reactions mainly deals with the photo addition of the olefins to the carbonyl group to form the oxytanes. In simple words, what we can say that alkenes react to the carbonyl group to form a cyclic product, that is oxytane, is known as a Paterno-Bucci reaction. As already we discussed, these reactions were given by Emmanuel Paterno and George Bucci, so the name is Paterno-Bucci reactions. Paterno-Bucci reactions are the type of the ring formation reaction, or we can say that the oxytane ring is formed here. Then this reaction normally occurs between the triplet state of a carbonyl compound with the ground state of an alkene. This is the most important term we have to remember here. Means, now let us see with the example. This is a carbonyl compound. As we know, this is simple our acetone molecule. So the carbonyl group is there, but the mandatory condition is that it should be in the triplet excited state. Means simple, when the carbonyl group, any compound is there, it will absorb this light and it will jump to the excited state. So the reaction occurs between the triplet state of the carbonyl compound and the ground state of an olefin molecule to form an oxytane, means a ring product will be formed. So in simple word, we can define the Paterno-Bucci reaction as the ring forming reaction when a triplet excited carbonyl molecule will react with the ground state of an olefin in the presence of light to form an oxytane. I have drawn this structure with the same colors, so you can see this oxygen opens here and this alkene bond also shifted here, so a ring structure is formed. And we can again see an electronically excited carbonyl group is added to the ground state of an olefin, yielding the oxytane, is a Paterno-Bucci reaction. I hope it is simple. Again, an electronically excited carbonyl group will react with the ground state of an olefin in the presence of the light to form a ring product, that is known as oxytane. Now, like our photo reduction, photo addition is more efficient when the triplet state is of n to pi star rather than pi to pi star. As we all know, there are photo reduction reactions also. So this photo addition will be more efficient when the triplet state is of n to pi star rather than pi to pi type. Then how we can study this? Just have a look here. When we see the two typical reactions of this type are, first is the addition of the benzophenone to propene, and other we will study the addition of the benzophenone to our isoprene. So first let us see that this addition of benzophenone to the propene, means this is our carbonyl compound is benzophenone here. It will add to the ground state of the propene to form a cyclic product, that is oxytane. 10. So the main important thing what I told you here, that when the triplet state is in the N2 pi star, it is more effective in the photo addition reaction. So now we can see how this triplet state of the benzophenone we can explain. Now we all know that any carbonyl group, the carbonyl group is having the C double bond O representation. So as we all know that a pi bond is made up of 2 electrons, means this is the sigma bond, so sigma electrons, this is the pi bond, so pi electron, and this is our oxygen. As we all know that there are lone pair of electrons on the oxygen molecule. As we all know, the atomic number of oxygen is 8. The configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2px2, 2py1, 2pz1. There will be 2 electron pair in the valence shell, so oxygen have the 2 lone pair, and in our bonding language we are saying them as a non-bonding electron. So when we make the carbonyl bond, now we can see that our C double bond O, this is the pi orbitals. As we all know, the pi bond is formed by the sidewise overlapping of the unhybridized orbital. So if we talk about the electronic transitions, as we are saying again and again the word that photoaddition is more efficient when the triplet is straight into N2 pi star transition. So we know that there are many type of the electronic transition reactions. So we all know the type of electrons are sigma, sigma star, pi star, and non-bonding electron. So if the electron is excited from sigma to sigma star, that transition is known as sigma to sigma star transition. Then similarly pi to pi star, N to pi star, N to sigma star. But especially in the case of the benzophenone, we know that when the ultraviolet radiations fall on the benzophenone molecule, it undergoes N to pi star singlet transitions at the 350 nanometer wavelength. But as we know, there can be 2 types of the transition. As in the carbonyl group, there are non-bonding electron as well as the pi electron. So if these non-bonding electrons, I represented the non-bonding here. So if this non-bonding lone pair of electrons jumps from N to the pi orbital, excited pi orbital, so this will be N to pi star transitions. And if a pi electrons jump from the pi orbitals to a higher state, so it will be pi to pi star transitions. So we know that our N to pi star transitions takes place at the absorption of 350 wavelength, and the pi to pi star transitions takes place as 250 wavelength. The energy requirement for N to pi star is less than the pi to pi star transition, so that this carbonyl group will favor the photoaddition reactions at the 350 wavelength. Now we can see that when the light falls on the carbonyl group, the electrons, when they are in the ground state, it will absorb the radiations and they will jump from the ground state to the excited state. If both the spins are in the parallel condition, this is termed as the triplet state, and if the electrons are anti-parallel to each other, this is termed as our singlet state. Now we can see, as there will be the parallel spin, so by calculating the multiplicity, it is 2s plus 1, so we got 3 here. This is the triplet excited state, and again we are discussing that in the photoaddition, the carbonyl group must be in the triplet excited state and the alkene group will be in the singlet state. So if the electrons are anti-parallel, the S is equals to 0 and we will get the multiplicity 1, that is the singlet state. As we all know, the energy of the singlet state is higher than the energy of the triplet state, and the photoaddition reactions, we prefer the triplet state should be N to pi star rather than pi to pi star transition. As we all know that the S1 undergoes very rapidly changes to the triplet state. So as we all know, the time for the singlet state is very less, that is 10 to the power minus 10 seconds. So the electrons remains in the S1 state for a very less time. It comes back to the T1 state very fastly. So I hope by this diagram you can understand how the n to pi star transitions takes place, how pi to pi star transition takes place. Means when electron from non-bonding orbital will jump to the pi star, so it is your n to pi star transitions, and it requires less energy than pi to pi star transitions. So in the case of our benzophenone reacts with an alkene to form an oxytane or cyclic product, we prefer the carbonyl compound to be in the triply excited state, and the triply state should be our n to pi star rather than pi. Now we will see the second example. It is the addition of benzophenone to the isobutene. As we all know, the formula of the benzophenone is C6H5 CO C6H5. We are representing here C6H5 as the pH. So our benzophenone reacts with the our isobutene in the presence of the light to form an oxytane. So now we can see that the two products are formed. One is the yield is 90% and other yields is 10%. So this product is going to be the more stable. This reaction, the addition of the benzophenone to the isobutene, will complete in the two steps. Once again, I will revise what is the definition of the Partner-Bocci reaction. It is the addition of the excited triplet carbonyl to the ground state of the olefin in the presence of the light to form a cyclic product is the Partner-Bocci reaction. Now we can see in the first step, the excited carbonyl compound, that is the triplet state, first adds its atom to the olefin to give the two possible biradicals. Now we will see that this is our benzophenone. When the light falls in it, its molecule get excited, means the electrons of this bond will get excited, and we already discussed n to pi star transition will takes place, and our carbonyl group will be in the singlet state. Now after the spin inversion, this can convert to the triplet state, and this is our excited triplet state, that is we are representing it by the T1. We can write it here. So this is the excited triplet state molecule. This carbonyl will now react with the isobutene to form a more stable cyclic product. This is our diradicals we have, because we can see these two electrons are single here. Now we can see the second option. Our molecule can also combine with the isobutene in this manner also. Means now we can see that here this carbon is combining with the methyl part, and here it is combining with this CH2 part. So we can have the both the option. Means if it combines in this manner, it can form our 90% stable product, and if it combines in this manner, it will give us the less stable product. Now again we can see this first step. Our benzophenone molecule get excited, and the singlet excited state after the spin inversion get changed to the triplet state, and this triplet state get converted, react with the isobutene molecule to form the two products, that is first diradical, it is more stable, and the second diradical less stable. Now we will see the second step. In the second step, a spin inversion takes place, and the second bond is formed, leading to the formation of a cyclic product. This H spin will get invert, means both the electrons will combine together to form a complete cycle, and our more stable product will be formed. Similarly, the second one will combine after the spin inversion to give the cyclic product. That's all. Thank you. If you like my video, please share.